Okay, so today I'm going to be showing another video. Today I'm showing you this, the sulfur cube monorail. This is something I've been designing for, well, quite a while actually. I first experimented with the design when the sulfur cubes were first announced, later developed the design further, and then finally we have this design. This monorail uses much more complicated system than what I've seen for other sulfur cube monorails, where you have 2 or 3 sulfur cubes in the top, such that the monorail self-propels it, and so it can accelerate faster and faster the longer the track you have. Ice is used to allow it to accelerate to such speeds. As a result, it can reach speeds probably substantially faster than a laser flight, and so it could be actually a viable use of transport in the survival of world. Although it is quite expensive. So this monorail currently uses, as you can see, this is quite a large design. Basically something you build for like a large multiplayer server with a bunch of people. This is like 10 units, so each person will have their own individual cart, which you can either have 1 or 2 pigs inside your boat, or you can have a boat with a chest and have 1 pig and a chest. I'm not quite sure why you have the chest, which is useful. And then you have, this is the monorail station. Each individual cell, which is about 4 blocks across in total, can contain 1 cart at max. And then you can change the block in here. Blocks, not quite all of them which have a and then we've got this station. That's my own design. Nice. This one I haven't modified. This is these stop stations have to be stationed at each end of the monorail. This end does not have it because it's a plain end, but you can station multiple of these things along a long line, such that they function as stops. This basically stops the carts so that they don't come in with incredible velocity and get stuck in random places, like what happened a lot with my earlier designs. So, in start by showing this off, we have the trip sliders to detect the pitfalls and will then be stored by the piston mechanism. So if I go back to the 2 one, this is the slower one, labeled black. And then this one is currently facing in this direction, which you can tell by looking at the leaves on top. The one that's angled is the one that indicates the pusher sulfur cube, and that means on to the side. So back that way, so the sulfur cube will go this way. You can change the direction using this. So now switch to this direction, switch it back, and switch to the other direction. Then, once you pick your direction, you can then hit this button. Eject your cart, push it up. The lights will switch off to indicate that the track is being used. Then we will exit this area, move around to dodge the slower mechanisms, and start accelerating to the destination. So you can see the gradual speed increase of the monorail cart as it keeps getting faster and faster due to the monorail on top. This seems like about the max speed for a tube piece, although one notable thing, you have to be careful when building this, since the sulfur cubes are like, basically there's a bug currently, which I've reported, so hopefully it may get fixed, but there's a bug where the facing of the sulfur cubes causes, you can see that the leaves attach to different locations, which can cause issues, so you have to make sure they're facing certain directions. The sulfur cubes are facing a specific direction when you build it, or command, I guess. So this is the undecorated version. You can just see the redstone. You can also see the gloss which is to be covered completely. In my decorated version, I can't cover it completely, only because this is an extremely expensive build overall. I mean, it depends on how many players and how many units you want. This is just a 2-unit system. If you just want just a single player, like you assuming you're not like assuming you don't want this to be perfect. But for this to work, or if you want a multiplayer server, then you're going to have more stations. Because if you want 2 people at the same destination, then you need to make a station to each card. And let's work in this. Switch my card direction. Notably, you can't actually see it so well practice, due to the fact that it gets faster as it's longer, then you can make it even faster. Practice ice is pretty much required for a fast speed. You could use blue ice, and that would get you somewhat faster, but I guess I haven't tried it. It's probably not so much faster since it has slightly more slipperiness, but it's quite expensive, so you may not want to do that unless you really want the speed. If you really want speed, you're better off just doing the triple cube, which is this design over here. Notably, unlike the double cube design, which has two ice sulfur cubes, this one has 2 ice sulfur cubes and 1 boss one, which I forgot what type corresponding to. Gold ball, I think? I don't really remember. Well, either way, it has the second highest slipperiness. It has to have different so that the sulfur cubes don't get slower and lose that extra speed boost. So we can then ride in this one, which has also 2 pigs. You can have 2 pigs, so you can have multiple players riding it at once. The pigs are required because otherwise the boat won't leash to the sulfur cube properly. It would just fall over. So then, with this design, we're also currently facing the wrong direction. So let me turn that up. Okay, now we're facing the correct direction. And then we can hit this button to eject the sulfur cubes. And then we will start to move this way. And then we'll start to accelerate. I think you can immediately notice the speed difference. It starts to wobble a bit. It goes extremely fast. This is probably faster than light flight. And then we ram into there, and then we slide in here. And now we are stationed. Double check. Because this hasn't received full testing, so triple sulfur cubes may break under certain conditions. I've had issues with attempting to get them to work. It seems fairly consistent with time. So it's now locked in place. So we can then switch our direction again. Okay, we're going in the correct direction. And then we can hit the exit button. And then we ran this, go through this. This may break off sulfur cubes, but seems to be okay at the moment. So now we're accelerating again and reaching extremely fast speeds. You can see the train flying by. And we ram into this, and then we gradually slip inside. And we go past this one, so this is locked in place, prevents us from falling, and then we fall back to where the others get off. And then we have the exit things behind. We're going down, because you station this in midair high enough so that you don't have to worry about digging through that. That would take a long time. This could also be built in the nether, but because you have to dig through a massive terrain, you have to dig it through massive terrain, or you still have to dig a bunch. So you either build at the top